For today's crazy calculation, we're going to be evaluating functions. Alright, let's get started. Let's say we were given these three functions right here, f of x, g of x, and h of x. And now what if we're asked to evaluate for f of 4? Well, what this right here is asking us to do is it's asking us what happens if I plug 4 in for function f. So instead of having an x here, what if I use a 4? Well, f of x is 3x minus 5, so f of 4 is 3 times 4 minus 5. And 3 times 4 is 12, so we get f of 4 is 12 minus 5, so f of 4 is equal to 7. And now what if we're asked to evaluate for h of negative 5? Now what we need to do is we need to find function h, which is right here, and we need to plug in negative 5 for the variable in function h. So function h is x squared, so to find h of negative 5, instead of doing x squared, we'll do negative 5 squared. And negative 5 squared is 25, so h of negative 5 is equal to 25. And now what if we're asked to evaluate for g of 8? Well, again, all we need to do is plug in 8 for the variable in function g. G of x is equal to 7x plus 2, so that means g of 8 is 7 times 8 plus 2. So 7 times 8 is 56, and 56 plus 2 is 58, so g of 8 is equal to 58. Now let's try to evaluate for 3 more functions. Take a look at these 3 functions right here. Let's try to evaluate for g of negative 2, h of 7, and f of negative 1. If you want to try these 3 problems on your own first, feel free to pause the video right now. So the first step for all of these is I'm just going to plug the number into the appropriate equations. So for g of negative 2, I'll plug it into this equation. I'll plug 7 into this equation right here because it's h. And for f of negative 1, I'll plug negative 1 into this equation right here. So this is what I get after plugging the numbers in. Now let's take a look at g of negative 2. G of c is 5 times c squared, right? So g of negative 2 is 5 times negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is 4, so g of negative 2 is 5 times 4, so g of negative 2 is 20. For h of 7, I have 2 times 7 minus 2, because the original equation is c minus 2. And 7 minus 2 is 5, so I have h of 7 equals 2 times 5, so h of 7 is equal to 10. Now for the last one, f of negative 1 is equal to negative 8 times negative 1 plus 6, because the original equation is negative 8 times c plus 6, so we'll put a negative 1 here. Negative 8 times negative 1 is 2 negatives, so that makes it positive. We get 8 plus 6, so f of negative 1 is 14. And that's it. All you have to do is match up the function and plug the number in where the variable is in the original function. It doesn't matter if it's x or c or some other variable, just plug the number in for the variable in the equation. That's all you have to do. And that's it for this crazy calculation. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, videos you want to see, or anything else you want to say, feel free to drop a comment down below. And other than that, I will see you next time.